This year's trek, as usual, started out in Kathmandu at the Kathmandu guest house after a couple of days of going around Kathmandu, picking up my money, exchange, and of course stopping in at one of the Buddhist temples for a blessing for our upcoming trip. Which occurred around the Bodhanath Stupa, one of the largest stupas in Kathmandu. It's actually quite impressive. Those are pigeons all over it. Some of the statues are rather terrifying looking. So our first domestic flight, was to Pokhara. Some mountain views along the way. We spent an afternoon in Pokhara and spent the night there. And next morning, we took a flight to Jomsom with great views of Dhaulagiri along the way. Here's a view of the Jomsom airstrip. When weather permits, it's very busy in the morning. In the afternoons, the winds are usually too high for flights. We immediately, once the porters arrived by bus, we headed out directly towards Kagbeni, up the Upper Mustang Valley. And we're actually able to get off the riverbed in a few places, use some side trails on the hillsides. They're fairly rugged trails, not heavily used. The afternoons can be quite windy up this valley. We then spent the night in Kagbeni. Next morning, packed up and made our official entry into the Upper Mustang region. Looking back, we saw views of Nilagiri, the larger mountain ranges.
South we can see probably. We can see this one from Kalahani and up to Pan. Mexican and Italian.
This is Kagbeni. On our way. So this is Kegbeni, and the beginning of the Upper Mustang Trek, which we have to start out on the roadway.
Right.
And then we're going to find as many side trails as we can. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. And this is Ramesh photobombing me. Our first few days on the trail were quite long, a bit tedious in places. There's not a lot of vegetation in this region. It's quite dry.
कति पुरानो
500,000 वर्ष.
त्यस्तै 1200 होला.
So he said around like more than 1200 years old these buildings. ल यहाँ बाटो छ नि हिँड्दै
छ
ल
तर घुम्नु पर्छ है.
ल ल घुम्दै नि अलिकता. This feels like 5th, 5th century, 4th century. Fine day it is. So good. Oh, दाइ काशीले दाइ आराम हुन्छ आराम हो तपाईको घर यही हो.
We passed through several small villages during the day. But the amazing part was they're incredibly green thanks to the advent of irrigation. Our final village was where we found our tea house for the day. It was good to get off of the trail in the afternoons because of the higher winds during the afternoon. But the crops around there are incredibly healthy thanks to irrigation. Some sections put us back out on the road, and some of the roads were not that good a shape. Local truck stop, and continued up the Gandaki River. At one point we came across a trail that traversed this cliff for a great distance, but that trail had been discontinued because of landslides, so we had to come back down the trail, turn around, and find a way across this gap, which was nearby, near a swinging bridge, which basically led us to the alternate trail on the other side of the creek. So here we are trying to get to the top of yet another hill on the way to our destination. And across this gorge, which we had to take, as you can see the trail below us. And if you go across the suspension bridge, up the hill, there's a tea house. A couple of tea houses. We stopped there for lunch and then had to come all the way down here and then all the way back up this gorge. And now we're heading up even further to the skyline up above. You see some prayer flags if you look closely. That's our next high point. One high point after another. Without the lunch break, we would have come up this road right here. It would have been almost flat. It's flat. Yeah, it is flat, right. I mean before lunch. Yeah, we came down from there. Right. The first road we hit was right here. This is one of our fancier hostels. It has an attached bathroom with a shower, a couple of beds, very simple beds. This is one of the dining rooms. Second dining room. Downstairs, it's the kitchen.
Morning. Morning. Namaste. Morning.
Our porters. And the front street. Nilagiri Hotel. Back on the trail for another day. Interesting trail running along the cliffs. Bit more of a rugged climb. Up and over yet another high point. Here we are approaching the village with our next tea house in it. A view of some of the mountains. This is looking back towards our route. Some of the Annapurna range. The local mountains have had a little overnight snow collect on them. Once again looking back towards the Annapurna range. And this is our tea house for the evening. All the rooms around this level. Downstairs is a dining area. Stairs are always a lot steeper than normal stairs. There's the kitchen.
Namaste.
This is the front yard. And back on the road the next day, joined a herd of goats. We're heading up into the hills for more food. It's off in the distance you can see the goat herder. This was our afternoon excursion to some local caves. These caves are centuries old. probably used for
Mind your head,
hiding
mind
out.
your head.
The caves are broken down into different levels.
Mind your head.
All kinds of little nook holes, and guess they'd use them as bedrooms and kitchens and such. This is going from one level to another. I think there are 5 levels in this particular set of caves. All of this is just carved out of the
Here's the second one.
sides of the hill.
Hello, Buddha.
Some of these holes were a bit of a tight squeeze to get through, even coming up the ladder.
Nice. So cool, guys. Well, when you are coming, you are going to visit.
कामको सिलसिलामा आएको हजुर
ए ल ठिक छ दाइ राम्रो काम गर्नु होला सुस्त छ बस्नु होला है त थाक्यो यार मजाले
राखे हाले त डबल डबल हाने डबल टिम हाने
The next morning, got up early and went for a walk. It led us up to a high point in the village where there are ruins of a palace along with a monastery that had been reconstructed.
I think this is looks like palace to many years ago I think I was
And this is the old palace. Those mountains actually a barrier between Upper Mustang and the Upper Dolpo. The Upper Dolpo is what we did a couple of years ago. Some more side trails and shortcuts. Sometimes we'd manage to get off of the road. It's a gravel road up in this area, this far north. But there were still shortcuts to be had between the switchbacks of the road. But they could get fairly steep in places. And each day we managed to find one or two passes to cross over. We had to pass or cross a pass at the far end of that valley. Here we are at the top of the pass. And finally, the gates to Lo Manthang. We spent a couple of days in Lo Manthang. Gave us the opportunity to see a large number of monasteries, some of them in the village, some of them up on the hills nearby. Local ladies having an afternoon meeting near one of the walls of prayer wheels.
Sheep. Nice. Ah, good. No problem.
At one of the monasteries, we actually got to watch some of the upcoming dances, etc., that they were preparing for the festival. It was to start a few days after we left, unfortunately. But we were able to take in a lot of the activity leading up to the festival.
Ah, nice. Beautiful. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Let's put it around here. Capture in your mind now. I'm going to the people. Now you got it. I want to be. I want to be.
We took one day out from Lo Manthang to take a jeep up to another set of caves in the cliffs. They're quite interesting. This is a well-constructed visitor site. So they do make access a little bit easier than probably it was originally. Before visiting the caves, we actually drove up quite close to the Tibetan border, except that the checkpoint for the border was about 10 kilometers away from the border, so that's as close as we got to Tibet. These caves can be quite extensive between all the multiple levels and all the little rooms that are carved out. Could probably hold quite a few people. And there were probably places that were easy to defend. So during raids, maybe they spent their times up in these caves. My trekking partner, John, making his way through.
I don't know why I didn't bring the headlamp.
I thought about bringing it, I just forgot.
A little sacred corner, somebody's piling stones.
I can tell the tourists have been here.
Yeah, it's a tourist thing.
One afternoon, we hiked up to one of the larger monasteries up in the hillside around above Lo Manthang. We were allowed to go in, but couldn't do any photography. So I just
No filming inside?
No photo, but we can go.
I turned my camera on and just put it face down. Afterward, we climbed up higher into the hills to some of the very old ruins of the first royalties' buildings and palaces.
Yeah, super.
Now, you stand here and take a picture of me here.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You can feel I walked over that mountain. There is up a What is yeah,
Broke into the castle. Wow.
Now King going to visit in Royal Palace, right, King?
Right.
Old Royal Palace. Okay. Is there waking?
After spending a couple of days in Lo Manthang, we actually hired a jeep to go back down the valley over the route we'd come up. So saved us a bit of time covering the same tracks that we did on the way up. But we did have to deal with a flat tire. Not unusual. You're renting a Jeep. And then we actually left the Jeep to go visit some local natural caves that had been turned into a religious site.
घोरे पानीमा होइन टाढा पानीमा भेट हुन्छ तपाईँको र मेरो पुनिलमा भेट हुन सक्छ बिहान पुनिलमा हस् हस्
A lot of discussions about where he's going to turn around and leave us.
I saw those two.
So we left the Jeep behind. He returned to whence he came, and we carried on down through this gorge to where the caves were. I find that many of the monasteries and religious sites in Nepal are often very remote, hard to get to, probably easy to defend locations in the mountains. So often to visit these sites you have to take some rather tricky trails to access them.
beautiful king.
place for butter candles. Unlike the other caves we'd been exploring, these were actual natural caves that had been taken over as religious sites. This is the monastery that was built around the natural cave. It's actually actively in use. There's a monk living here. He gave us permission to view the site and actually gave us tea while we were there. Right. Photos, no? Okay. From the caves, we continued on up this gorge and climbed up and out over another pass and down the other side and on to the next village where our tea house was. View of Ramesh, our guide, the dramatic backdrop. A view from our tea house before next morning heading back out onto the gravel road along with various side trails. It's very difficult to create permanent crossings for this river because every season there's a flood that moves the location of the main channel of the water. So every year they have to pretty much negotiate things in a new direction. But this year, this was our crossing. After arriving at our tea house, we took an afternoon walk up this river valley where the river came out of the mountains. You could see the remains of actually a metal irrigation system that collected water further upstream near its source. On the way back, we stopped into this particular village, walked through some wheat fields, and eventually found our way into a set of very old ruins that were still being occupied.
Yes, we're going here. Oh, you've always come. Such a good idea. Go lower down. Very nice.
So these are actually homes. They're still occupied by the locals.
So it's actively being used, even though it's all crumbled over there. Right. Interesting center. So cool. That is another way. There's another way.
कस्तो डिजाइन गरे है यो फुल डिजाइन
Broken.
धेरै हेरिएला साथी हो है भोलिबाट यस्तो हेराउनु पाइन्न So today is the last day for watching this kind of monument film. From tomorrow we can see these things, you know.
Yes.
I will be out. Just for today.
This.
Oh my God. Woohoo! Hello, namaste.
Homes made in a ruins.
Yeah, clay. Nobody here. No one. Oh, 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 oh. Okay. This is the intense gatekeep.
Sip on that.
होइन गाडी बाटोबाट अनि हिँडेर जाने
हिँड्ने त्यसो भए चाहिँ यहाँबाट जाउँ हो यो चाली सानो छ नि यो खोला यो खोलेर यो हालाए
The following day, we carried on to Kagbeni, where we rented another Jeep to take us all the way down the rest of the lower Mustang Valley to Kalapani, where we started the second part of our trekking adventure. So stay tuned for part 2.